so they would have it. I need to start another recording.
Could you also just say that whole thing that you just said again?
Oh, right, yeah, I'm gonna do that, yeah. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that we're gonna do the scoring system. And so the scoring, what works is how we're doing this. We're not doing the standard Yahtzee system. Every single roll is gonna be treated like a chance roll. So we're just gonna total up the dice and add that up for this version. And it's a great way to just kind of make sure we can do that system. So for anyone who is interested in actually maybe on their own time, adding the Yahtzee scoring system, technically what we're doing is the chance field. So the logic we have here could still be saved and used if the player chooses chance. All right. So what we're doing is not a complete waste of time. We wouldn't remove this code, but it just, yeah, it's only one of the fields in the whole Yahtzee scoreboard. So it's not a lot, but at least useful. All right. And so what we want to do here is just add the result of our 3 rolls, so the result of 3 rolls, not every individual roll, just the final roll to our score. And if we take a look at our system, do we have a method to do that already? Anyone remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that update score method in the player. So we can literally just do player, and I've already switched over my keyboard, so I'll be slower. Score. And that's it. We don't send anything because the player has the cup. So the update score method will actually pull the cup, run all the dice, and actually update the score. So we do want to display.
I was about to say that's a return value though. So don't you want to system out print line that so it shows up?
Yep. Oh yeah, again, that's what we're gonna see here. So right now we did this part, right? Notice we had an and there. So we did the first part where we updated the score, but then display that score. And yeah, if we look at our method, it does return an int. And we can safely assume that's most likely the round score. So we can just simply wrap that in S out.
Nice.
Yep. Now again, if you saved it to a variable, yeah, if you saved it to a variable and then printed it, that's fine. But since it is something since this updates the player score in the parameter, we could just use it directly by just running the method. It updates the player's score and then returns the round score so we can use it to display immediately. We don't actually have to save that in a variable. We're only using it once. All right. Cool. Awesome. So that's that. That's
I have a quick question. Some of my classes are in red. Is there a reason for that?
Listed in red.
Yeah,
you just haven't. Yeah, you haven't committed those chip files yet. Those files have changes and they have not been committed.
So weird. They just committed.
Do you get status?
Still red.
Yeah, that means you probably didn't add first. Then do you get status?
Matt witnessed it. Matt, you witnessed me.
Yeah, we did that earlier.
Get add, get commit.
Yeah.
Push.
Yep.
That's usually what causes it. Share your screen.
Yeah, did they
I'm
not?
Curious.
That's wild.
Let's see. These here are done, and then if I just go through what I did, look at this is what get status, get add.
Run get status again.
Hold on. Yeah, do get status first. So I don't know why all of them are showing because right now it's just showing that Yahtzee here, but scroll up a little bit.
Scroll up.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it looks like it's only noticing that Yahtzee is different. But that might be just recently because you added that line for it too.
Yeah, I was just messing around with
this.
You
just added that because that's what I did. So
no, I didn't. I actually already had that.
Oh, good. Okay. Can you click the project file folder right here? I want to see if the files themselves are red. Oh, yeah, they are. Interesting.
I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just weird.
I'm confused why that's not showing. Could try resetting it or restarting it, or
hey, why don't you click on main? Sometimes the telling J is slow to like catch up.
Oh, maybe.
Or try right clicking in there and see if there's a refresh option. Just right click, not there. Right click in the file structure. So right click like on main or on .com.company.
Okay.
So right click this. Sorry, I'm over here. My bad.
Oh, over here.
Yeah, sorry. Is there a refresh option?
I'll see it. Replacing.
Yeah,
Does rebuilding do that
Cliff?
Just hover that. Don't actually do anything. Just hover it. I'm just curious. Interesting.
What's reset head?
Don't do that. That means it resets any changes you made.
Oh.
Interesting.
I mean, it's not a big deal.
I'm
Everything's
curious about
functional.
that.
I remember yeah, I think you had this. Oh yeah, and that's what your explanation was.
Yeah, the colors on the files, I actually hate them because I don't care about them. I tend to ignore them, but they're there because of Git. I know that that's what causes them. The colors are usually due to Git. The fact that yours are still showing, even though you did push, would just tell me that it's like Visual Basic, the IntelliJ, that one hasn't updated yet.
Try underneath that one, say
realized it.
reload from disk.
It did? What? Do that again, right click
Click on
again
that
then?
Right quick.
I'm sorry. What was it?
If you
Bring
right
up
click
that menu
company,
again.
com.company,
Bring that menu again. I think Jim may have saw something. Oh yeah.
there's a refresh, there's a reload from disk.
Yeah,
Try that.
reload
Under
from
Git.
disk. Try that.
Nope. All right, that looked promising, but nope. Weird.
That's
the
all
blues
right.
went away.
Wait,
Okay,
are
that's
you on
weird.
the right branch? Or
The
did-
blues
or-
went away. Those aren't blue
Oh,
anymore. Not what we wanted, but
Well, now do a get status.
and try that, I guess. Yeah,
You
might as
actually
well.
go to the GitHub website just to see what the repository looks like on the.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Okay.
idea too.
Try let's see. And then
You scroll up. Scroll up above that. In the terminal.
branches up to date. Yeah.
Yeah, the only change is Yahtzee.java.
It's
That
no
one
big
should be
deal.
red.
Weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is
Freaky.
that is. We'll just do a get add dot period, get add space.
Get add dash
period.
A. Remember that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep, that's good.
and then commit it, right?
I don't know. Oh, small m, by the way. I don't know why there's a big
Yeah,
M.
I
Yeah,
fixed that. No
We
one
had
fixed it.
fixed that before.
Yeah.
Just I noticed that. I'm like, I don't think that should make a difference, but yeah.
It does.
I can
actually.
use the
It
same commit, right?
Yeah, it's the
Same
same. We
name.
haven't really changed anything yet.
Okay, and now push it.
But I don't think it's gonna do anything, but
Git push.
you can already tell.
Oh, you forgot the git.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
you git.
Sergio.
You know what? Just for the fun of it, quit IntelliJ and reopen it back up again.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was.
I'm curious now.
Clear the cache.
Yeah. So it's still open because you have the blue bar at the
Yeah.
bottom. Could you right click on it and click quit or make sure
Oh,
there's any other windows?
On
There it
it's
goes.
my other screen.
Ah, yeah, there we go. All right, I'll reopen it.
Man, through this years, that chick's still running in the beach.
She's getting
Say
bit. Don't judge.
I was. I was.
I don't know if that was the beach you ran on. I'm pretty sure you run every day too.
It's like she's mad respectful too. She's running on sneakers and whatnot, and getting them all wet.
Right. That is a nice beach, though. Yes, I will agree to that.
Yeah. If that was the place I could run on, I'd probably run every day.
We're
You kidding
good.
me?
All right. Nice
Oh, yeah,
work.
so that was just IntelliJ being dumb. All right, good
All
enough.
right.
Woo, IntelliJ. Hey, it's free. Can't really argue with it too much. It's a pretty good program for free.
Well,
Sure.
when it doesn't crash and I lose an hour's worth of work, it's great.
Don't worry. Windows
I
11
forgot
will
about
fix.
that. I'm
will
sorry
fix
for
all of that.
that.
That's why you're supposed to
Push more.
get add every 5 minutes.
All right, and now we're done. We can kill that one. That to do is no longer needed. Now displayed it and updated it. And then over here, what we want to do is go through 5 turns and then display the total score. So that's the easiest way to make something happen 5 times.
Loop.
Yay. What kind of loop?
I was gonna say just off of 4 each, no 4 in, because that's what we've been doing. So I'm a creature of
All
habit.
right, so can I do a 4 in and have it do a number of times?
So 4. No, you can't.
Nah.
Just
All right, because 4 in needs a collection. We don't have a collection that has 5 elements in it.
So this is regular 4 loop. So 4.
I don't know why I hit the shift key on my keyboard there. For this one, again, I'm trying to break you guys some of your habits. So instead of using I, even though it is better to, it is okay to use it in certain situations, since we're not using it for an index, I'm actually just gonna use the term count.
Okay.
That way it's a little more descriptive, because we are doing this for a count of 5.
Round.
What's that?
I use the word round.
Round can work too, yep.
Oh,
We only really gonna change it, we might end up having a method called round in the future.
Oh,
Right.
well, it's in the thing because that's how many rounds you're running on
Yeah.
the turn.
wouldn't we put count as a parameter in our play?
Are we gonna use it in any other method?
I don't think so. I think we'll just keep it for this play
Right.
one.
And now once we realize we do need it somewhere else, then we can move it. But since we're only needing it for the for loop at the moment, definitely not a parameter of the method of the class yet.
Okay.
And that's one of the things to keep in mind. Like, yeah, it's a good thought. But just be aware that, like, ask yourself that question when you have those thoughts. Ooh, this could be a field. Am I using it anywhere else? Well, not yet. So I'll keep it as a method variable for the time until I realize I need it somewhere else. Then I'll move it in the field. I believe that's what we ended up doing with like some of the other fields and one of the other methods. I can't remember which one that was now, but one of the previous classes we did that. And it was a scanner, right? Oh, yeah, the scanner was there. Yeah, the scanner was in the turn class in the beginning. That was it. All right. So got that and do a while count. Plus then 5. Do count. Plus. And for those of you who are interested in doing like solid like clean coding practices, instead of just having this does anyone know what, when you have this number here that's floating with no meaning behind it, does anyone know what the term for that is called?
A magic number?
That's it. It's called a magic number. Because it's magical. We don't know where it came from. We don't know what it means. It's just magically there for some unknown reason. Magical. So they're called magic numbers. We don't like those. And so a common thing you'll see, and since this is just we're going to create something called a static. We're going to create a static constant. Oh, not a static, sorry. A constant value. And so, and since this is only used by Yahtzee, we'll make this one private. Most constants are private. Private. Int. And that we do final. Oh yeah, final has to come before the data type. I've been doing that multiple times now where I keep putting final after the data type and it yells at me because it thinks I'm trying to name a variable final. No, I'm not. Private final int. And then does anyone know the naming convention for constants?
All caps.
There it is. And someone just popped up. Who just popped up? Or this person I've been waiting for. Do that. This. There. Beautiful. All right. And then we'll do all caps. So caps lock for once, and we're going to just call it round. And this is where the term round comes into play. So this is why I like the term count, because I want to count how many times I'm doing it, but I want to count 5 rounds. So there. So Jim, does that seem a little better now, Jim?
Yeah.
Cool. That's why I didn't want to call it round.
Well, then I would try and count the turns because one round would be
So
turns.
we would have to make that.
Like a count is good too.
Would that?
Yeah.
Do we have to do it like that? Or
No, this is considered. What is this? What is this? Why would we want to do this? I said the word a couple seconds ago. I'm wondering
Clean
if you
code?
caught it. What is it?
For clean code purposes?
Yeah, it makes it legible, right? It makes it a little easier to read. So in that way, you know where this item is coming from. And if you want to change how many rounds, you can just go to the top of the class instead of having to find it one of the methods. Instead of having to search for the methods for this random floating number, you can just see it right at the top of the class now.
So if final variable, or if constants rather,
Yep.
should be all caps, should the scanner name on line 8 also be all caps?
It could be. This is one of those things that, while it is something we're not changing, it is a dynamic item because it is a scanner system. So some people can argue that it doesn't need to be, and it's also easier just to type scanner all lowercase than having to hit the caps lock key.
Okay.
So yeah, it's one of those things that definitely can be argued, and you'd want to check with your company for it. But since it is a class in itself, you could argue it does change state, even though you're not using that backend items of it. So
Okay.
it is an instance. So
This
good
is,
argument. Good question. That is a very good question, though. And yeah, I would not be upset if someone did have an all cap scanner.
this is saying that it could be a local variable. Does it mean that we should include it like right under play? Is that what it's yelling you at for?
Probably it's warning you that it's only being used in one spot. So yes, you don't need it as part of the class. And that's part of the idea of like count. Like if we put count up there, we're only using it in one method. It doesn't need to be, what's what I'm looking for? Class leveled. So it doesn't need to be a field. And this is one of the ones that, again, it's based on how you want to do it. I like it at the top because my constants at the top make it easy for me to find them and edit them.
Yeah.
So if I want to quickly make this a 10-round game, I just go to the top of Yahtzee. I don't need to figure out which method it's in. Because yeah, for us, this is a small class, plays right the second method. But I could also very quickly move play to the bottom, have a bunch more methods for the whole Yahtzee process of scoring and everything. And now for me to, if I want to change the number of rounds in the game, I have to go all the way down to play to make the change now.
Makes sense.
That's why I prefer them at the top, even though yes, it theoretically could be a local variable.
Okay.
Yep. That's why they're alerts and kind of like warnings, like, hey, this could be, it's up to you to actually do it. Cool. Good question. Any other questions on that stuff?
And then one more thing. I get that this is also preference, but that in your play method, you see that you wrapped your turn in a code block.
Yep.
You don't have to necessarily, right? Because it's only one line of code.
With single line, no, but since play and for this, it's likely we might do more eventually, maybe when we fully flesh out Yahtzee, it might be more going on here. But since, yeah, and what you're saying makes perfect sense, we don't necessarily need to, no.
I wasn't 100% sure of that. That's one thing that I'm experimenting with, because I mean it does look cleaner, but also it's if you add more stuff, break your code.
And also, I guess some companies, they do not like that version where they have the lack of curly brackets. They actually prefer to see curly brackets no matter what, because it shows that block and it shows that that line belongs to the for loop 100%. So just be aware of that. Some companies, they like very strict code that has the curly brackets. Just be aware of it. But then there's companies that don't mind it and they'll let you go and they'll actually prefer no curly brackets to minimize the amount of code. So.
Mine is like no.
Again, we have another connector here. We have a then, and we didn't have and, but we have a then this time. So we factor the play to run 5 turns. Then, so after the 5 turns, display the total score.
What would you call the total score?
Yeah, we'll do S out. There.
See, so then you need that's where you need the curly brackets there, because otherwise then.
Well, technically, no, again, if the system will guarantee run that's one too many things I've deleted. The for loop system will guarantee to run 1 line of code. So the for loop system will guarantee to run 1 line of code. And then this one comes up after the for loop's done.
Okay.
Anytime we this in Java, so anytime we see display, we always have to S out, correct?
Usually.
Okay.
It depends in our apps that we're building right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Display though, when you're building a website app, is completely different. If you're building a API or something like that, then you're sending back HTML code or you're sending a JSON file back.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah. The display just means to print out to whatever display medium we're using. And in this situation, yes, S out. All right, let's see if that does it. That's not what I meant to hit. I want that. Right here. All right. All right, what am I going for? So we want the highest score. I'm thinking of keep the 5. Should I try everything else, or should I also keep the 4? So we're just going for highest score. We don't care about Yahtzees right now. We just want the highest numbers we can get.
I'd re-roll the 2 and 1 of the 3s.
Oh, so you actually keep 1, 3, 1, 4. Okay. That.
I like to live on the edge.
All right. So I got a 2, 3. What are you thinking? What do you think? Someone else. What should I do next? You can even ruin everything that Matt just did if you want.
Roll 3 and 4.
3 and 4. What about my 2? That's evil.
Yeah, no, I mean, the 3rd and 4th.
Oh,
So yeah, specify
3, 4. Got it. That actually worked out right. I got a 22. All right, next round. 3, 1, 1, 4, 6. What am I going for? Someone else.
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend. All I'm technically aren't that what you guys? No. I'm asking my friends.
Dice
What am I doing,
2 and
Cullen?
3.
Doing 3? All right. Oh, that's Joel. I
Yeah,
think.
let's go with 3.
Yeah, good.
Good. So what do we do next? What's our risk? Small risk or big risk? Or medium risk?
Go big or go home. So the first 2 die.
Oh, that wouldn't be go big. My go big would be 3, 3, 4, 4. The safe risk is
Oh.
the 3, 3. The safe risk is the 1 and the 2. That's
No,
the
that
safe
was
one.
what you did.
The medium risk is 1, 2, 3. Try to get one of those 4s higher. So that would be my medium level risk. I'm gonna go that. I'll do medium level.
I mean, there's a risk, and then there's walking headlong into oncoming traffic, Cliff.
I don't know. I think I won down on that one. Plus
Yeah?
1, plus 3, minus 2. Yep, I won in the end of that.
You got 22, but you got 22 in the last one too.
Yeah. So currently my total score is 44. Again,
Wow.
it doesn't show that till the end. Remember. So and that's something. Can someone keep track of the total score to make sure my final output is accurate? Because we're currently just going to base it on that it is. So
But we can go up and check after.
true. But if we keep it going as we go, then we can just save time. So, all right. I want to go a little quicker this time. Go 2 and 5. 1 and 2. Go big or go home. That hurt. All right. 17.
Bum, bum, bum.
Add that to it. Oh, geez. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to play this one a little safer so I can get a better score. So I'm just going to go with 4. That definitely worked. So 27. One more round. Here we go. 1, 2, and 4.
That's 74 so far.
All right, 2. Yeah, that's that. That was
Yeah, the
bad.
total score was right.
Total score's right.
Good.
For anyone who's not sure, I did write down the numbers so you can see it. We did the 22 plus 22 plus 17 plus 27 plus 23. There it is. So our system works. So now we just gonna do a quick little update where we can now turn our system to take care of multiple people now.
Oh.
All right, now we want to handle multiple people. That's the last thing we need to do for this game to be at least play in a playable sense where now I can play with more than one person. And that means our play method is now going to update a bit. Now I have a little bit more going on here. And our Yahtzee. So if we want to play with more than one person, what do we need?
More than one player.
All right, well, how do I do that? How should I do that?
Let's see. So
Ideas?
in the Yahtzee class, we have 1 player field. We can make 2 of them.
We could do that. Are we limiting our game to only playing with 2 people?
That's true.
Maybe we could take input.
What was that?
Maybe we could ask input from the user how many players.
True. But then I still need still didn't answer the question of how do I hold more players?
An array list of players.
I was gonna say, yeah, we could do a list.
Yeah, collection, right? Yeah, if we have multiple players, we have a collection of players. And this is gonna be something interesting that you're gonna start dealing with your head now. You're gonna start seeing people, a group of people outside, and you're gonna start calling them a collection of people. I have a collection of friends hanging out in my house today. No longer groups, we have collections of everything. So yeah, if you ever say group or you have multiple things, that is a collection. So always have that in your head. That's what you should be thinking. So we can create public list. Player. And again, the common name for these is just the plural of the class. And so in this case, I see the system's already guessing what I want to do, but I'm going to go ahead and type it out. It's nice and slow for you guys. Players. We'll go ahead and just create the array list right away. W array list. It's initialized. Now, yeah, now if we want to fill it, I think who said that we can ask the user? Who is that? I didn't actually see. I didn't catch
Timer, I think.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, so we can ask the system probably players. So let's assume we get that. What data type would that be?
An integer?
String.
String.
Oh,
It would come in as a string, but we could use it, we could convert it to an int, right? The int would be better for us, right?
Right.
We would, again, always think of what would be the ideal data. Don't worry about what the data actually would be from the input. What is our ideal data that we would want in order to do this? So yeah, if we want, what's our ideal data,
An integer.
right? Yeah, a number, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we do that. And so that means what? What do we need to change about our system? So I need to be able to get that into Yahtzee now.
Well, before asking the name, we need to ask how many people are playing.
Okay. So there's two ways we could do this actually. So Yahtzee can ask how many players, or we can have main ask how many players, right? We can send it in as part of the constructor, right? So there's two ways we can do this. How do we want to do it?
I like Yahtzee because we already have a similar setup in Yahtzee.
Ah, I like it. For me. So yeah, we can change this system. Instead of asking for the player name, we can ask for the number of people first and then turn this in probably into a loop maybe. All right, let's do that then. Let's start with S out. How? It's not N. Come on, I can get it. There's. And we know that the item is going to come in as a string. Well, I'm going to show you a quick trick we could do. And also, no, we're not going to do exceptions today. No, stay focused. No try. So yeah, we're not going to do that. So instead, we're going to do int. What do we want here? Num
For players?
and two players.
No, number
Already
players.
exists. Num players, yeah. Where?
Yeah.
Players. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap around scan the, no, I'm gonna do that. Scanner dot next int. Forgetting that we have next int, so I don't have to do like string parsing or anything like that.
Nice.
That does it for you then. That's cool.
Yep.
That is
Yes,
nice.
this will automatically do it. And if you type something that isn't an int, I think it actually tries to get you to ask again, or it'll yell at you. I think it actually yells at you. I can't remember. I actually think it'll keep asking until it gets in it. Yeah, I believe that's what it does. We can test it though. So, in number of players, we'll get a number of players. One thing I'm also going to do here, just to kind of teach you this little cool thing, we probably want a maximum number of players, right? What if we want a maximum number of players? And just for the fun of it, just to think about it, because this is a quick little easy fix, and I want you guys to realize how you can approach computer programming after it works. If you are going to be a malicious user, what are some things you could do to try to break this thing right now? So ask you how many players, and what could you enter to kind of be
Million.
Yeah, a million,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it's going to stay in a loop for a long time.
So you could go a really high number. What else could I enter to be bad?
Oh, really.
Negative.
Negative, right? You could throw a negative number in there. So there's a min and a max we definitely care about. So I'm going to show you a cool little trick here.
Mm.
So use a tool called do. And it's something called, and Jim actually really likes this loop. Do while loop. So what does the do? Let's see if people remember. What does the do while loop give us that a while loop doesn't?
It always executes
Guaranteed.
once.
One.
Yeah.
One time, yeah.
Guarantees it's going to run at least once. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this variable and pull it out of the loop because I don't want it scoped to the loop because I want to use that variable. I'm going to pull that out of the loop. I'm going to set it, and then I'm going to test to see if that number is within the range I want. So while it is, and what I need to do is I need to check for negativity. Because the truth here is that what I want to do is I want to keep looping while they give me wrong values. So I don't want to check to see while the number's in my range. I want to see while the number's out of range, keep going. That's one thing I could do. Another variation, which can be tricky with numbers, because numbers can be tricky, because that means I have to put, I'd have to set this to it already, and oh no, I wouldn't do that. Never mind, I'm thinking weird. Ignore me. Thinking of a normal thing. So while, and so again, I want to say while the number is out of range. So out of range. The range we're looking for is num player. So we got X. So here's the number X. This is a number. what is the range we want? X should be what?
0 to 5. Oh,
Use the terms greater than and less than.
larger than 0 is less than 5.
Greater than 0,
Mhm.
less than. What's
Round,
our
less than round.
well, not really. This is the number of players, right? So what's the maximum number of players we want in our game? Want 5?
I don't know why I'm thinking 5. Why is 5 in my head? Because the number of
It's
rounds,
round.
I guess.
He's gonna do
Okay.
a 5 round.
We can do 6.
Yeah.
That way we just have a different number. That's fine.
Yeah.
You can do 6 players. That's fine. And so this is kind of the syntax we're looking at right here. Is 0, and this is what you're actually gonna see this in HackerRank a couple times, I'm sure now. This is the syntax used for within a range, and then I'm just gonna add this for inclusivity on the 6. So we're saying that X is gonna be greater than 0 while also less than or equal to 6. So this is how you can combine those two things. So let's start trying to code that here. So while, and we can do 0 greater than number of players. So that's true. That's what I want. Sorry. That's not how we read it.
No, that's
How do our number of players doesn't even have a value? It's just a scanner.
Well, it's going to pull a number. So it's going to get a number from the system,
Okay.
from the user. So we want to know, and so this is what we want, but we need to check for it to make sure it goes back to the top is that it's not this. If it is this, we want to leave the loop, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
So how can I check for whether or not we're out of this range?
The not thing. Use a not symbol.
Could do not, but not, so we could do the not and then wrap it around what we want. We could do that. The other thing we could also do is just check for the other ranges, which would say that, hey, if X less than 0, right? Equal to, sorry. Or say, X is greater than 6, right? Those are the two we could do instead, right? Would that qualify? And
I
is
think
it
so.
the and, or is it, and is this correct? This symbol, is it and, or is it the other one?
And
Let's test it. Hold on, let's test.
Is it or?
X
or.
equals
0.
-4.
Yeah.
True or false?
true.
True.
True or false?
False.
False.
False. And so true and false is
False.
we
False.
would exit our loop. So what is it?
Yeah.
Keith,
it is
Keith,
and.
you got it. Yep. Keith, you're right, right? One
Oh,
or, right?
the or.
Because we want true in order to loop. While needs to be true for it to loop. So or says true,
Oh, yeah.
false, overall true. This will give us the or is what gives us our negativity check. We're checking to see if there's anything outside in the range of X less than 0, or if it's greater than 6, we'll jump out. But just confirm it. If we get the number 4, not negative, true or false?
False.
Less than? It's
False,
false.
right?
Hmm.
True or false?
Not greater
False.
than.
What's that?
False.
Yeah, and so false or false is
True.
false or false is.
Is it false?
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
That was interesting to hear false or false true. Wait, what?
That's how multiplying
It's a
negative
nor.
works. That's not how Booleans work.
It's a nor, right?
That would be a nor. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also the XOR, which is only if one is true will it actually be true. If both are true, it will not trigger. So a normal or is either or true and both true is true. Only thing that is false is if both are false. An XOR is what they call it. XOR is if only one is true. If both are false or both are true, it is also false. Those are really cool. And then NOR, I think, yeah, I think it's an or that both are false, maybe. I can't remember. That one's actually even more rarely used. The NOR. Anyway, so we want to do X. X is what is X in our example here? Just a sanity check.
Number of players.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah. That's why I call it a sanity check. Everyone should know that. If you didn't know that, then you might want to double check, make sure you're paying attention. Errors less than or equal to 0, or number of then. And again, do we want this? Let's see, sanity check again. What is this again? What do we have now?
A magic number.
A magic number floating. So let's get another static item. No. See, we'll call this
Max number of players.
players. We don't need to put number, I think. We can just do max players. I think that fits it enough, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think the num is needed in this one. Max players is pretty straightforward, I think. We can call that 6. Replace this with max. Get rid of that comment now. We don't need it.
Should we do another one for the men's or no?
Sorry, what's that?
Yeah.
Oh, for the
Sure.
names. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we need
No,
another loop for the
no,
names.
the minimum, the minimum.
The minimum.
You could do that, but oh yeah, because we actually
That's
we
like
actually
zero.
want. Do we want one player or do we want a minimum of 2 players? Actually, I didn't think of that.
You can play solitaire.
We want to have our game play solitaire. Just try to get the highest score, the all 6s, I guess.
I like having a solitaire mode because it's a little easier to debug some stuff than flipping back and forth between
I didn't say
players.
it's a bad thing. I'm just asking if we did.
Yeah, I'm
You're
explaining my
justifying it. I
reasoning.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The min players. In this case, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to change how our code works. Instead of doing the less than 0, greater than 0, or less than 0. Yeah, I'll do less than 1 actually. If you want. So actually right now it's going to be, oh, I see it. Hold on. 1, and then do that. And we're going to change this to players, and we're also going to change this to less than, not equal.
Why is that?
So that way it will be less than, so 0 is right, but the 1 is actually doesn't trigger this. The number 1 doesn't trigger this. We can have 1 player. Because min
So if
player
I-
0 doesn't sound right. Because min player 0 means that I can have 0 players, right? If I read that right. So min player 0 is kind of trying to tell me that min players that of allowed can be 0. And so if we're going to use these, we should make sure that they match their concept. If we're doing max players as an inclusive item, min players should be inclusive as well. So we're going to do min players less than, max players greater than, or greater than, sorry. 6 is allowed. I don't know why I did that. So yeah. So this way, if the number of players is less than 1 or greater than 6 at the moment, we drop out.
So
But
what
that
happens?
means 1 is valid, 6 is valid.
Oh, so if I typed in 1 for 1 player, it'll still be valid?
Yeah.
We're apparently allowing a solitaire mode. But again, if you don't want to, if you want to disable your solitaire mode, just change that to 2. And that's what's nice about this system is that it's very quick and easy to change the minimum number of players for your game and the maximum number of players. If you say this game is not fun without at least 3 players, screw it. Make it so that you have to play with 3 people. Do not allow them to play with less. That is something you get to do in your system. But for debugging, we can let our system do a solitaire mode.
If I have a question,
Shoot.
Your do while loop doesn't have any curly braces.
It doesn't. You're right. So I had 1 line of code though. So be aware again, the same thing here. So it's a 1-liner, so it doesn't need them, but I'm going to keep myself consistent. So I'm going to add those curly brackets. I didn't realize I didn't type them. My bad. So I'm going to keep those there. All right. Now what we do is we need to actually create those players now, right? And add them to our system. So what we need to do?
Make oh sorry.
Go ahead. No, I was good. I was about to say something because no one had said anything yet. There's 2 things we can try. 2 ways we can do it.
I was thinking maybe like a loop, creating
Yeah.
instances.
Yeah, definitely loops. We definitely need a loop because we need to create multiple players now, right?
Mhm.
Potentially. No guarantee. We only need to create 1. We definitely need to create an X amount of players or a number of players. We need to create a number of players. So.
You could probably use a while loop instead of a for loop.
Yeah, this is that thing. I think Matt was one who exposed us to this one, the while loop version, because we have a collection, so we can do. I have caps lock still on. While. our players list. So players dot size less than our number of players. So while the list is less than the number of players, we want to add more players to it. So let's create that player. So we can do this right here. Copy that right there. And we're going to copy this. But what are we going to, where are we going to put the player now? We're not going to do it. We're not going to put it into a variable. What are we going to do?
Add it to the list.
Yeah, we'll do
Oh, I already-
players. Add. You can put in that line there. See how that works. I'm going to comment out this line. So we no longer need the single player ones. I'm commenting out line 28, 29. Give everybody a couple seconds to make sure this is looking good. Okay, this should get us all our players. So this should get us all X players. And now what we want to do is I also don't need that to do anymore because we did actually complete it. So now in our play game. So now play game, we know we have the players, and then we want to make sure that we take, I guess, 5 turns. Each player in the game is going to take a turn 5 times, one at a time. And so now we can argue a round is not a turn anymore, is it? A round is what?
Bunch of turns.
Right, it's all 5 players, right?
Mhm.
So we are probably going to call turn, but for the moment, let's get rid of this. Or we not? Maybe it might be safe for us to create a round method now too, right?
Mhm.
Where it runs the turn. All right, so we can do public or no private. This is not going to be accessed outside of it. We can do private on this one. Another void for the moment. We don't know if we're going to return anything. We'll do round. So how should the round work? Maybe we're jumping ahead, actually. Let's take a look around. Let's look over. We did just get rid of our player system. Is anything else still using player? It's probably something we need to check on, right? Scroll down. Is there anything using player?
The turn method.
Yeah, turn's using it. And anyone else?
Get
Anybody else using it?
selections.
Oh yeah, get selections is also using it. Well, that doesn't work anymore, does it? So how can these are definitely going to be a single player item, right? Turn is for a single player, right? And get selections is also for a single player. So what can I do to make sure that turn knows who it's working with?
Pass down an argument.
I can give it the active player, right? Do player active player. So now I'm going to grab this. I'm going to take here. We'll go ahead and use that shortcut so we can save a little time. We'll right click, go to refactor, rename. We'll change this. I don't know which one I'm moving around that much. To active. I just noticed it's doing up at the top too, but it's fine. We'll fix that above in the play method.
Just go over, why are we putting our player in this parameter for turn again, just so I can get it down? I'm trying to just grab.
Once I finish typing.
Once you're done.
Active player, would enter. That's actually fine. So our turn was currently playing with the single player we had, which was this one right here, the single player. We're now switching to a list of players.
Okay.
The turn method, though, is a method that runs for a single player, right? A turn is a player's turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to know which player this turn is affecting out of our list of players. Whenever we run this method, we need to know, well, which player's cup do we want to roll? Which player's cup are we displaying? Why is this? I don't remember doing that. Did I do that?
No,
I'll
it
do
showed
that
up
again. Hold on.
automatically because mine
Yeah.
did the same thing.
Oh, we're gonna change. We're gonna fiddle with that in a second. Anyway, weird.
Yeah, if you refactor, it changes all instances of whatever you're refactoring.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, I think it because I think it may have added active player as a field class because it was affecting the one here and here as well, and those weren't parameters yet. So we're not going to use the refactor because it's affecting. It's recognizing these as well. We're not going to use the refactor method instead. Okay, that's fine. That's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, it changed. You know why? Because it changed the field. It changed it to active player. So I think it thought.
Yeah. We don't want it to do that though, but it did that again because it was affecting the same variable in multiple methods, and those other methods didn't have that that parameter, so it made a field automatically. And that I didn't want it doing. So that's actually bad behavior. See, sometimes using those tools are not always the best. So always check on that. Be like, wait, this should not have needed to add this. Why did it add this? And then you want to go find out. So we're actually gonna we're gonna do this the manual way. This is what we're doing now. We're changing it so that we access a individual player. And so what we do now is we can send the player to this turn so that it runs the turn for that player. So after we go through each player in the list of players, we send one player at a time for the turn, so that player's turn will become part. So set player. All right. So we do the get selections. And again, get selections, we're getting selections from a specific player. So what should we do here? Do the same thing. Let's do that. Let's copy this thing.
Why is that turn on line 38 yelling at us now?
We are using it here. But now it's yelling, it's gonna be upset with us because we're not using it correctly anymore. We're not actually calling it right. So it's gonna yell at us in a little bit. Right now, it's not yelling at us because it's yelling at us right here. We are using the method. But be aware that that sometimes doesn't seem to work right. I can't remember who had that issue, but for someone else, their method was still gray even though they were using it. So yeah, it's grayed out. It means you haven't called the method. If it's colored or if it's changed colors, that means it's a method you are using.
Hey Cliff, I noticed when you do a public to string that it automatically turns yellow.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just mine or if that's just how.
No, it does that.
Interesting. Maybe because of an override?
I think so, because when you do, when you make a new constructor, it does the same thing.
You're right.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, again, always be careful of the things. I use those just for guidances. I don't rely on them. I still try to make sure that I understand what my code's doing, but it's good to have those things as little hints as to what's going on. Like it's good to know right now that I'm not using active player, but I don't say that that guarantees that the variable isn't being used. And so that's how I look at a lot of these tricks or little features that IDEs give. They don't work great. They are not infallible. They are guessing. They're assuming based on what we've done. So it's a nice feature, but I do not look at it and be like, oh, because that's great, I know for 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt it is not being used. I never think like that. So always be aware of that. Just because this is yellow, I'm going to say like, oh, that's probably because I'm using it somewhere, but I'm not going to be like, it's definitely being used, you know? There's a technique though you can use. You can see where it is being used. I know the command button on Mac, you can hold it down to highlight and see where it's being declared.
I think it's Alt F7.
I don't want to do that today. Hold on. We're already we're almost at 8 o'clock already, and I still need to do maps. So you can do that another day. Anyway, active player.
Where did you initialize the active player?
It's a item. It's a method. It's a method variable. So it's initialized in the method.
Return.
Yep. So it's defined here, and it's defined here.
Get selection. Mine doesn't like it. Like, why does it not like it?
You mean it doesn't like it?
It's red.
Second, you can take a look. Oop, that's the wrong button. Player. So you have the capital P player, active player in the parentheses.
Under get selections.
Yeah, and
yeah,
turn.
Yes.
Share your screen.
So I have a lot of problems because I didn't do the first two things of this.
Seems like your a couple of your classes are a little broken. Player has the red underscore. Your die class isn't capitalized. So depending on annotations, not capitalized, not capitalized, and these also have the red lines, so they're also angry with you.
Oh yeah, no, because I didn't do the first two sessions of the thing, so.
Oh, that might have been, it might have been good for you then to have, yeah, what might have been safer for you is to be able to pull down the GitHub, but it's fine. Let's scroll up a bit. Let's take a look. That might be that the player class is upset.
I mean, I have this player.
Oh, those are fine. So yeah, those allow.
But I don't have one that's called active.
Oh, right here, we already have it. So it could be a cascading bug. Get rid of the INT here. You're redeclaring a variable that already exists. And then that is wrong. Yeah. The while goes on the same line as the closing bracket.
Like this?
Yep. And normally the 22, that whole line would be on 21.
Oh, and I don't have a closing bracket here.
Hey, dude, right here.
All right. Hold on. My screens are backwards, so I have to.
Yeah, like that.
18 and 19 are 18 and 20 are duplicates.
Get rid of this guy. 18 and 20, no, they're not. Oh, kind of. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay, that's not right. You just get rid of all that. You want the semicolon, but you don't want anything after before it. Yeah. So that's going to clean a lot of your lower code. Let's scroll down a bit more. The next problem you have is that why it's yelling at you is because look at your lineup. So see how we have this? Yeah. Do you see any curly bracket before your next method?
No.
There's nothing here, right? Yeah, your play method is not finished. So there it goes.
Okay, Joel.
Thanks for the heads up. Now that just needs to be updated to active player.
Shoot.
Now this good, that's fine. But this also could be related to whether or not your parse cup method is correct. I see that right here, it says it has a problem here.
Let's start with active.
That's probably not ever been done.
Oh, I know what it is. Yeah, that's something you have to do later. I can tell that because your input is a string, not an int. So you're missing your conversion from strings to ints, and that's. Wait, what?
I don't know why I did it.
Okay. Hold on.
No, I have it is a string.
Hold on, no, hold on. It's not supposed to.
Yeah, the line below. You need to
you're
also
right. Never mind.
update to line 40.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
Active player.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, no, never mind. You're right. As soon as I was saying, like, wait, no, never mind.
This one needs to be active.
No,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too. Yep.
Use tab and it'll replace it.
Then hover over, highlight this underscore. So just hover over it so we can see what the error message is.
Doesn't.
You're still moving the mouse because you haven't been stationary yet.
Oh.
There you go. Cannot resolve the method roll with an integer list. Must return an int. Do you not have the list version? Can you check your cup class, please? Curious why yours is called cup Java, but this one isn't. Cup class.
I know. I don't know why that is, and I didn't realize I had to make them capitals, so they're not capitals.
Not too big, but definitely not isn't liking this. Scroll up more.
You see the array list is why?
Can you rename this? Right click on it, rename, get rid of the .java.
I think you need to refactor, right?
Yeah, hit the refactor, yep.
Oh, is there a refactor?
Yeah, refactor rename file.
Ah,
And get rid of the .java.
can I make a capital now? Will it
Yeah,
fix
you should be
it?
able to do that. Yeah, you can do that. Button.
I think they fixed.
It's on. It's on.
She has to
It's
make.
on line 24 where it's int. It should be integer.
That too, yep.
And I also think she needs
Capital?
to.
Capital
Yeah.
dot?
Yep.
1 second, Titus, but yeah, we'll touch that next.
Capital I integer.
Yeah, now pause for a second. Titus, what are you giving us?
I think in line 6, the die, I think she needs to make that die class capital D instead of a lowercase d.
Oh, right, it's not pulling it in because this is wrong too, so refactor this as well.
Oh, okay. Refactor. Where is it?
Too far. There you go.
Rename.
We probably should have done rename file that previous time, actually, now that I think about it, but refactor.
Oh, it's a little happier.
It's getting
Oh,
there.
it says Java. Why does this one say Java?
Because it's a Java file. So we right click on it again. Go to refactor and do rename file now. Now get rid of the Java. Yes. Oh no, I'm not liking this. Because that's not, I don't think it's actually a class file. I actually don't know how to make the files without using the new Java class. I
Don't
know
they
how you
normally
made
say
these.
.java though?
They probably do, but it wasn't being recognized as a Java class. That's the problem that we were running into. It's not recognizing it as a Java class.
Yeah,
File. It's
besides
recognizing
the
it
little
as
circles
Java.
are the classes. On the actual, if you go look at the files in this project, they are .java.
So
But
try
they don't show- they
right-clicking
don't
on this
show it
again.
into the IDE though. It's not shown.
Yeah, right-click on that again. Do refactor, rename file,
I think she did as a new file instead of.
rename, and then do .java.
Did you change the scope from project files to something else?
What was that?
There you go.
Because I noticed it's not a class, it's a file.
Yeah. Try right-clicking it again. Let's see what other options we have. New associate with file type. Let's try this. And then look for class, maybe. Java class. Java class. Yep, that's it. Yep. Hit OK. See if it works.
There you go.
Kind of took it. It's treating it as a class. Oh, is it .class, not .java?
Oh.
Because it just said decompiled .class file. You know what might be easier, actually? Let's do this instead. Rename this file to cup.old. Actually, no. Hold on. Trying to think. So I really just want to rebuild it.
I mean, I should just.
Why didn't you just delete that and create a new class?
Highlight everything and copy it. I'm trying to think though.
Yeah,
But I think it might be easier for today though. What I'm thinking you might want to do today, Elaine, is just clone down my repo so you can follow along. And then you can update your code.
Oh God, no.
You can also just download it.
Let me
You don't have
just.
to clone.
I'm just gonna keep going along. I mean, I've been
Okay.
going along,
right.
starting in the middle, and it's
Then
okay.
what you might want to do is restart the project from the beginning of the videos.
That's
'cause-
what I was thinking to do.
All right. Yeah.
I'll come
Unfortunately,
back
this is going to
here.
take too long, and yeah, I want to make sure we still have a couple things to cover. So I won't take back over.
All right, sorry, I don't know how to.
I got it. Chat, good. Okay. Way. Oh geez. That here. Okay. So active player. Oh, that's good. And then as we notice here, we do get we're now being told that there's a problem here because we now our get selection method now requires a player given to it. Well, we have one we can give. What is it?
Active player.
Active player. So now, as you notice, our play now is updated. So this is how we can get told what we need to change. And so this is why I was like, well, we may be jumping ahead now. Let's fix turn and get selection so we know what you do now. So now a round, what is a round of our game of Yahtzee?
All players go once.
All players run a turn. Yeah. So how can we do that? How can we ensure that every player gets to play one turn?
We have a turn counter in the player class.
Could do that. What else? What other option do we have? Is there? Could you argue that there already is a order?
The list of players.
Oh yeah,
The
okay.
list of players already is in an order.
Mhm.
It was decided by whoever entered their name first gets to go first, but something I guess you could change up later on if you ever wanted to. But you do technically have a thing, something that is in order that we can go through one by one. So how do we do that? You have to.
With the 4 inlet.
Yes, 4 in. That guarantees we'll have everyone go.
I knew it was gonna be a little bit.
Or
Active
player. We'll use our similar words, active player in players. Or player, active player in players, they are going to have a turn. So, and active player. That looks to be it. So now what does our play do?
Our play calls round.
Yeah, because that's what we have here, right? So instead of calling turn, we're going to call round instead. What we'll do is we'll take this guy because this guy doesn't match anymore. We want this to show up at the end of a player's turn. So we're going to put this right here. Active player dot score. Oh no, that meant we want to do that at the end of the game. So yeah, at the end of the games, after all the rounds are over, we want to show the scores. Let's put that back for a second. We want to show the score of the players, right? We want to show every player's score, right?
Mhm.
So we could put that here, but is showing the score part of playing, or could we maybe do one more method?
We could do another method.
Display results, right? Display results. Display results, and what we want to do is we just want to loop through, show all the players, and then maybe also pick the who won too, right? We want to go through, display all the scores, and then select a winner. So how do we do that?
You have to iterate through everybody's score to find out which one's up, the highest one.
Yes, who's our highest score counter, right? We need to go through a list and figure out who had the highest. Does anyone know the algorithm for doing that? Finding the largest item in a list?
Max.
Max, right? We need to keep track of our item, right? Like, and this is one of those fun ones. Keep in mind, keep in your head. If I gave you the numbers 5, 10, 8, 6, 3, yeah, just those. And I asked you, hey, which one's the highest number? What are you gonna be able to give me?
10.
Right. Now, did you go through each and every number to confirm that, or did you just kind of glance at it?
I just look at it.
Right. Now, if I give you, let me give you, Travis, I'm going to give you a notebook, like 100 pages worth of numbers. And if you can find me the largest number in that notebook, I'll give you $1 million. But if you get it wrong, you owe me 2 million. How are you going to do it this time? How are you going to approach that problem?
I'm going to carefully go through each
Yeah.
number on the page to make sure I keep track of which one is the largest.
And you're going to have a note where you keep track of your current largest, right?
Yes.
You're going to write that down on the side, what your current largest number is. And that's kind of how we want to do it with computers. That's usually the best way, or at least the easiest way to get the brute force solution to any problem. Think about how you would do it if you had to do it on a large scale. That's how computers are going to do. That's usually how computers do stuff. We usually don't have a computer do something only 5 times and then never do it again. If we're going to get a computer involved, it's because we usually want them to do it thousands and thousands of times over and over again. That's one of the main things computers are good at. repetition. They will do the same thing over and over again without ever getting aggravated. It's like guarantee, Travis, while yes, you're looking forward to the $1 million, you're going to get really annoyed by page 20, 25, maybe you'll survive till 50. But at that point, you're going to start getting aggravated. Would you say that's a fair statement?
Agreed. Yes.
So that's that thing to keep in mind. Computers, they will do the same task over and over and over again, and they will never complain until we start giving them consciousness. But until we do, they will never complain. Oh, that reminded me of a story. There was a robot that ended up killing itself. They had a service robot at a hotel that ended up going out and just diving into the pool. The picture was so great. It looked like, oh, poor robot committed suicide. Anyway.
See what menial work does to people.
Yeah,
And robots.
even robots can't handle it.
Wasn't there a police robot that told a reporting citizen to go away and then whistled a tune and then threw itself in a lake?
That one I do not recognize. I'm gonna have to
I
look that
never
up.
heard that, but that's awesome.
I've seen the headline a few times.
Is it from The Onion?
No, it was legit, I think. I mean, now that you say that, I'm questioning it because it's funny, but I'm hoping not. Otherwise, I just embarrassed myself.
Sure. All right, so we're gonna do player, max player, or current winner, we'll call it. Or, yeah, current winner. A lot of times you might see this simply written as max. So in a lot of programs, you see this as the max, as the current max. Our current winner. Now we could either set the, now there's two things we could do technically though. I will argue. We could do current, well, actually, no, that's fine. Current winner, we'll do that. We'll do int max score. We could keep those things separately. But because of how our code is written, we can actually do this in a much simpler way. We can simply store the current winner player and access their score each time to see if they're the current winner. So we don't have to keep them separate. We can just keep that current winner. And one thing to save us on processing is we can just assume, let's just say that the first player is the current winner to start. And they'll win unless someone else can do better than that. And that'll save us one process. Current winner is player. Yeah. Sorry, players dot get 0. So we'll get our first player and just set them as the current winner, right?
The initialized value, okay.
Exactly. So we'll initialize the current winner to the first player. And then if anyone else beats them, they will take over the position. Make sense?
Wait, so basically we're just saying that on our collection of players, we're starting out with and the first position.
Yeah, we're assuming that player 1, the current winner, because we haven't looked at anyone else yet. So no matter what, they definitely win unless someone else has a better score than them.
So why wouldn't we start off with our collection of players? So why wouldn't it be play?
We would. We just need a starting point.
I don't know. So I'm just a little confused as why wouldn't on line 39, why wouldn't it be players current winner equals player dot get 0? You know
Players
what I mean?
isn't a class.
I got you. Now I see.
It's showing a single player as the winner. Yep. We're showing only one person is the winner. So a player current winner is, and we're pulling that player from the players list.
I got you.
Now, in this case, this is one of those ones where you can argue using the for in or the normal for loop. We can use the for in because even though we will touch the same player once, it'll just notice that the score is the same and skip it. And at least this way we don't have to deal with indexing, right? So that's really where the argument here is. I'll show you the two versions so you can see the difference. So the first one, go ahead.
What I ended up doing was I just initialized it to null, and then I did a for in, and then if current winner was null, I would just set winner to that first element, and then I would do continue, just so I don't run the rest of the code. Yeah.
But that means on every single iteration of that, though, you're still checking. They're doing one extra conditional where you're checking to see if current winner is null. So I'm trying to save that. Yes, I do touch the player one more time, but at least I don't have to do that little check there. So, and I can show that too if you are unsure. We can let them see your code quick. But here are the two
yours
versions.
is faster, so
yeah, I'll show the index version and I'll show the for in version. So here's the index version first. So for and this time we will use the I for index because we are using it as an index. We can start this at 1 because we already looked at player 0, so we can start at 1. We can do, well, I is less than players size I plus plus. Oop.
Why are we putting, why are we starting at an index 1 instead of index 0?
So we already looked at index 0.
Okay, so
why look at it again? We already grabbed it.
I got you.
So this is
But
the
wouldn't
one
we-
benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one benefit of initializing with player 0. We can skip player 0 in our loop now.
Because we're already starting at that starting point.
Exactly. Otherwise, we're just going to look at the same player twice.
I got
So
you.
now, yep. And so what we can do now is do if that if current winner dot score is less than yours dot get I score. We then change our current winner because that means that this player here has a higher score than our current winner. And so now I'm going to do current winner equal to errors get that's it. So that's the for loop with the index. See how that looks? The other variation is the for in version. So this one you do for player in current winner dot score, and I did it not if. So is that less than player dot score current winner equals player. All right, let's undo that one now. Actually, look them side by side. So these are the two versions we have. Your standard for loop with the index, and then your for in version. This one, the benefit is we do skip the first player. We don't look at that player a second time. This one, we do take a look at that first player one time. All we do is we get a equal, so we just kind of do this one check, and then we move on to the next player. So we are spending a little cost, but what do we gain out of this one, would you say? So we do have that extra processing. What do you think some of the benefits of this one is? I have a lot of cameras off, by the way, I was noticing.
It's a good sign.
I wouldn't think so, but
there's no need to keep track of the index anymore.
We do that. There's no need to keep track of the index. We do save that variable. What else would you say? Maybe not processing wide or computer programming wide, but as a developer.
It just looks nicer.
Looks cleaner and looks cleaner.
You can read it. It's easy to read.
Yeah, Elaine. So yeah, this would definitely be considered the clean code variation. So while yes, we are getting a little more processing here, we saved one variable and we are getting more legibility out of it. So those are some interesting things to keep in mind as you go to the interview. Both of these will get you hired. I can guarantee that. So just be aware of that. Just this idea that you've already initialized one and you saved one processing by skipping one. These both look great. They both do the job. They both work effectively. So both will get you hired. This one might give you a couple extra bonus points. That's the difference. This will not hurt you. This one, though, will benefit you. Does that make sense how that works? The idea of, yes, hitting expectations and the idea of like kind of going a little above.
I would say also.
Go for it.
But in a small, like with the first one with the for loop, I do agree the for in looks cleaner. But with the initializing the first player, meaning that you could have a validation in there just to skip over it, because if it's just one player, you don't need.
But again, that validation is going to run every single time, as what I pointed out with Joel's thing. So Joel is checking for null every single time, even though he only fills it in once. Even though that item happens once, that conditional check, that evaluating that condition, happens every single loop. Does that make sense? So yeah, like I think what
But you're going to be running this loop if you do it to the
Joel,
other.
can you pull up your code for me actually so you can see it, so I can make sure that makes sense to people?
Yeah.
It's one of the things that's subtle. You don't really see it right away. And again, what Joel has would not lose him points. Because again, there's just that thing that some developers are aware of, that what we built here is clean and still overall efficient. There's only we're only running one additional
Can you see
condition.
my screen?
Yeah.
Yep. And so what I'm saying is, annotate. So we have the winner. Oh, he updated it.
Oh yeah.
But
Sorry.
yeah, if you could just switch that back quick. So the winner starts at null. When he goes through his first iteration, he checks to see if winner is null, and if it is, puts player, continues. But every single time he loops for every single player, we're still going to run this conditional, and we're still going to evaluate the system. So we have 6. So in our example, we have 5 additional conditions being run. We'd run 5 more steps. And so that's one thing to keep in mind. We do n-1 steps on his code versus what I have.
And for our application, since the max player is only 6, is not that costly.
Exactly. That's
but
why
imagine if you had like 1 million users and you're doing that check 1 million times.
Yeah. So we take this code, we put it into a liar's dice sort of situation. We have multiple tables with multiple players. Every game is now running that multiple times over and over again. That 6 now becomes 1 million. And this is one of the things that's very interesting about Facebook. Does anyone know how many people actively look at their Facebook every day?
Millions.
Do a quick Google search. It's actually a stat. Facebook, daily logins.
I imagine each person does it a few times too, right? So
all you need to do, Google Facebook daily logins. You do daily active users, but I would do daily logins.
1.84 billion.
Logins? Billion? I didn't think they hit billion yet.
That's active users, my bad.
Oh yeah, daily active users, 1.88 billion daily too. Well, there is 8 billion people on the planet, so I guess it's possible. Jesus.
I just heard recently they have somewhere close to 4 billion users.
Counts. Yeah, and that's not individual people. That can also be business accounts and personal accounts.
Bots.
Just do, yeah. On a daily basis, they get about almost 2 billion logins, 2 billion visits a day. And so think about this. If you could eliminate a single line of code from their program, take a guess on how much bandwidth and how much money you could probably save that company.
Millions.
I would say close to even billions, honestly. Millions of billions of dollars. And so I can guarantee that they have if any of the public code that's available from the inspection tab, if you could find something to fix, they have a bounty system, I'm sure. They would probably pay you a bunch for that fix. With the amount of money you could save by removing a line of code.
Man,
so,
now you,
index.
Like the interview process, because they're probably looking for the absolute very best of the best then for that kind of coding.
Certain things, yes, they want that, especially for their front end. So anything that's being sent down to the end user, that's bandwidth for them. The back end, they don't care as much about that because it's not being sent across the internet, and so you don't have to pay for bandwidth. But for anything for the website, for the front end, for the JavaScript front end system, if you can shave off a single line of code for them, that means that less data is being sent across the web for 2 billion requests, you could save them a lot of money. A ton. And that's what's really interesting about stuff like this, where, yeah, in our example, since we only had 6 players, Joel is just running 5 more processes. But we take our game, apply it to 1 billion people, his 5 lines of processes becomes, bless you, 5 billion extra processes. You see how scalability works now? And that's the concept of scalability in a very quick concept. So something small like that can grow very fast.
Mosh does have a course on data structures and algorithms, and he does get into big O notation. I bought the course like a couple of days ago.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it's worth the buy. It's like $20.
Yeah, they run a lot of deals often, so I mean, I can look at it. They get it if they do it again, because that would be great. Because the big O notation is something you guys will be learning about at some point, because it does like to show up on interview tests. So we will be talking about that more near the end when we get to algorithms and testing. So cool. Am I still sharing screen? I thought I was. Did I stop sharing my screen? When did I stop sharing my screen?
I was sharing my screen, yeah.
Right. Realization occurs. So yeah. Again, just one more thing to just clarify again. what Joel had, what I had in the interview, Joel would not lose points. He would be just as good as anyone else. He would be perfectly fine. I'm just getting that couple bonus points for being clean and legible because my code's going to go to another developer and they're very quickly going to know what's going on. They can read it and be like, yep, I know what's happening. Even if that person is from a external organization. So we contracted someone to work on our system. They come in, they look, they know what's happening. So that's the idea. So I'm just going to get 1 or 2 extra bonus points. Where if me and Joel are everything else is equal, I might get a job just for that slight difference. So it's good to have those. So yeah, all right, let's see if this works actually. Let's take a look. Oh, wait, one last thing. We got to actually run it and then actually declare the winner. And at the same time, we also want to actually print those scores as we loop through now, right? Since we're looping through each player here, we can also print each player's score. So now we can do, well, yeah, we just have player name. Actually, let's do printf this time again, just so we can see. Again, we keep going. We go back and forth so you see both. A bunch of print lines, and you can see 1 or 2 printfs. So we can do %s for the string of the name. Scored. And %d for digit or for number. And when the slash ends, we go to the new line. I also might do, do that, and then we'll do comma, we'll do player name, comma, score. At the end, S out. We'll do 1 more print line again, actually. So we'll do printf. And S. Enter. We do with X points. That's fine. Anyone catching that music? All right, 1 second. I think that's my wife. Hold on. Yep. %. Okay. And then do, this is going to be current winner dot name, current winner dot score. Going to make this clean to look at. We'll do line, 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 on a no line. Again, whenever you have that change, you want this to be on the same line so you see that lineup of the open to the close. Always want to see that. Whenever you have a phrase that has an opening parenthesis or an opening bracket of some kind, opening code block container, you have the closing one on the same line so you see that probably can very much quickly, easily look straight down and you get that line there. So it looks nice and clean. And then the last thing we need to do, this is still gray. What do we need to do?
Use it.
Yeah, let's use it. At the end of the game, after all the rounds are played, display results. Let's see if this works. And I think we have our game.
Oh, hold on. Can you just slow down a little bit? I'm still trying to catch up.
Ooh, I'm also going to, just for the fun of it also, I'm going to change our rounds to just 3 for the moment so we can run this a little quicker. And right, just 3 rounds. Let me make sure it's here so everyone can see it.
That's there. And what's the last thing you changed?
I just changed my rounds to 3, so it'll run a little faster.
Right before that, though, where did you call the display results?
At the end of the turns.
Yeah.
Oh, after round.
After all the rounds occur, right?
Right. Okay, so then Okay.
I'm also gonna make one more final change just to make things a little nicer to read, by the way.
Okay.
At the end of turn where we actually do, so turn active player at the end of turn, I'm just gonna add in a quick thing to just do F out, print without the ln, because I just want to do I want it on the same line. I'm gonna do okay, I can do print F, that way I get the no new line. That'll work. S board player dot name. I'm just adding that for a little more niceness right here, so that way this number actually shows what I got. It'll actually tell me that that's the score I got. Also, I'm going to teach you guys a quick little trick here. At the end of the round, I'm just going to do a scanner dot next line as a way to just press enter to continue. So this is a trick I've done before.
Wait. Okay, you want to play. And then right after round.
Not that, not there. Oops, sorry. At the start of the turn, I want to do it. Sorry, at the start of the turn, I want to let the person know that it's their turn. So I'm going to do S out. Player name. Turn. Enter. To be. Also do a scanner dot next line. I'm not going to save it. I don't care what they hit, just whatever they enter. I just want the enter key to be pressed, and I'm going to move on to the next. And then I'm going to start the round. So this is just a little 2 cleanups. Line 73 and line 83 I added.
Okay.
For just some nice user interface updates for you guys. Let's see if it works. Stop and rerun. We'll do 3 players. Oh, this is the stupid thing that happens.
I had that problem too.
And so it's going to be a blank name.
And it's going to keep asking forever. At least something's wrong in my code because it will keep asking for names forever. I don't know if I did something wrong.
Oh.
That's
asking me to enter the name twice.
That's the next line system and next int. So next int with next line behaves weird. I got to remember how to fix that again.
It's something about throwing another next line to eat the space that it ends up on with next int, something like that.
Yeah, scanner is gonna be a little.
If you
Who
put it
wants
in
to
the
play
right
with me
spot,
though?
though,
Who
it's
wants to
fine.
play along with me?
Jim wants to play.
They're still doing it. Jim played last time though.
Oh.
Yeah, Jim played with the advanced cohort game. So who else is
Elaine
playing?
wants to play.
You two.
Yes, I do.
Oh, and Henry wants to play too.
Oh, Henry wants to play. Henry definitely wants to play.
No?
What?
Henry, yeah. Henry will play. Henry always wants to play.
Lane. For those who are a part of cohort 12, this is a common run between these two. They like to offer each other to play. It started with Jim, though. I think Jim was one who started it by saying, Elaine will play.
No, I'm pretty sure I started it.
Probably. And see, we have a blank player. So that's one thing. That's a little bug we have right now in my code. I have a nameless player right now. Who's going to be nameless?
Henry.
Your cat's not playing.
Oh, he can't play. He could play if I wasn't playing. He could play.
Come on.
I'll be
Who's playing?
nameless.
Play.
Who's that?
Simer.
Ah, thank you. All right, Simer, I'm gonna have you go. What are you doing? Give me the dice numbers. So just tell me what you want me to type.
2, 4, and 5.
Really? So you're doing this one, these two, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just double checking. All right. What am I typing next?
Just 1.
You do know you're trying to get the highest number, right? You're not going for Yahtzee? or straight? You're just trying to get the highest
okay.
total numbers. There we go. That's one. Like, is he trying to roll a 6? Why does he change it to 6?
Cliff,
Okay.
while you do that, can you in your Yahtzee class, can you scroll up so I can see your
So if I want to
Yahtzee,
play once that people
your
would ask
Yahtzee,
that.
your Yahtzee method, because I have something wrong in my Yahtzee method.
There you go. The constructor, in other words. All right.
Yeah, the constructor.
All right.
Then I
All right,
roll
Summer.
3 and 5.
3 and 5. All right. You got, that's not bad. You got 20. Good stuff. Just so everybody knows, 6 times 5, your best score you can get is a 30. So 20 is not bad.
Okay.
All right, let's see what I do. I'm just going to stick with that. That's a great starter roll. All right, I'll take that. Elaine, what you doing?
3 and 4.
All right. Not bad. You doing any more?
No, I'm gonna stick with that.
Onto 0. I think that might work. Nope.
Oh.
I don't have that in my code. So I'm gonna add that really fast. Hold on. Where is it? Roll or get selections is what it is, right? Oh no, roll. Yeah. Where can we put that? Let's see. After we get selections, if the get selection 0, we'll skip the roll. That's what we'll do. So
I
get
coded that in
selections.
already. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, parse selections, right? And then we have to. Ooh, dang it! Can I do that? I would have to save that though, wouldn't I? Yeah, I would. All right. Thanks.
I think we have to put. Oh yeah.
The way that I did it was.
Oh no, it's not gonna be like that. Yeah, you're right. That's not gonna do it. Right. Give me how you did it. Yeah, tell me how you did it.
I did it in the parse selections method.
Okay.
Let's see, where is that? I think that's in the cup.
The cup.
Yeah, in parse selections.
Yeah.
I wrote in between. Hold on, let me pull it up exactly. Guessing what I did here.
I'm just gonna do. Here's another one we're gonna do instead. This is actually how I want the players to do it. I'm gonna change it a little bit, make it a little easier. If input equals empty string return. That sound good?
Oh, that's a good way to do it too.
Yeah.
I
Instead
did.
of asking for 0, we'll just say hit nothing or hit press enter to just.
Okay. What I did was after the selections.add integer.parse int number -1, I had another if statement that says if selections.contains -1, selections.remove selections.index of -1. So it was sending an empty string out, so it wouldn't do anything.
All right.
Cool. Not an empty string, an empty array.
Empty array. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That actually works. So yeah, what you're doing here. So right here, like, that's it.
Yeah, one above that.
We'll do a ternary. Watch this.
Oh, you're gonna do it right in there.
Contains -1.
Did you miss that? Look up here.
Oh, that has to be a list though, right?
Yeah.
I can just do new. Right. List. Integer. That'll be a blank one. Look good?
Nice. Very clean.
That's another way you could do it. So this would accept a 0 as a we roll nothing. And this is going to allow us to enter a blank string as a do not roll anything. So now we have 2 ways that a player can tell us not to roll dice. So if they enter a 0, then we'll get a -1. So the -1 can tell us we don't want to roll anything. That's a good idea. I didn't think of that. Nice. Yeah, that'll work. So yeah, as long as you send an empty array, the roll will not roll anything because it'll just hit the conditional or it'll hit the looping structure in our roll method and just skip it because the condition's already triggered. Because we'll have our count at 0 and the size will be 0 as well. So the looping structure will never run. All right, let's try this again. Let's see if the system will let me actually enter a number. So nope, we have a blank person. So Simer's still blank. Instead of me playing, let's let someone else play.
I was gonna say, Cliff, to get rid of that, the extra character, you should put in your Yahtzee method, if you scroll up, in line 20, I think, at the end of that, press enter and put the scanner that next line.
Yeah, I did that too, and that cleared it right up.
That should fix it, yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be annoying.
Yep, there we go. All right, that way Summer can actually have his name there if he wants. Now let's play. 3 players.
Oh, nice. That works too. Very cool.
We're gonna have Elaine play. And then instead of me playing, who else is gonna play? You guys should have fun.
It's crazy.
I'll play.
Who's I? The box didn't move.
Travis.
Ah, thank you. There's too many boxes to look at. It's like, who said that?
Too many lines of code to look at.
Yeah. All right, Simer, ready. So again, trying to get the best, you're trying to get the maximum score. So what are we going for?
2, 3, and 5.
All right, you're going full on. Ouch.
2, 3, and 5 again.
You recovered. 25 is not bad at all. All right, Elaine, what are you doing?
Oh, gee. 1, 2, 3, and 5.
2, 3, 5. All right.
Ooh,
All
and,
right.
I'm gonna actually go for 2.
Not bad. You only lost 1 point. So that's worth the risk. You could have gained 2 or 3. So not bad. 26. Travis, what are you doing?
1, 2, and 5.
All right.
1 and 5.
Oh, you're going broke. All right. That did not pay off. Simer, you're up again.
1, 2, and 4. 2 and 4.
Nice recovery. We improved on that. So 23. Elaine, what are you doing?
Ooh, 3. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah,
This one, right? Yeah.
3, 4, and 5, I guess.
Bad.
Three,
Gained 2 and lost 1. All right.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
No change, but not bad overall.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Weird luck, that one. All right, Travis.
2.
2. All right. Yeah, that's not good. That's a good start. All right, ready to test one? So I'm guessing, unless you want to take a risk on one of the 5s, or are you going to just sit with that?
let's just go with nothing. I don't know.
We'll do the 0 first. We'll test
See if
that
it
one.
works.
It worked.
Woo.
All right, cool. Nothing rolled. Travis got 27. Simer, last run. Here we go.
1 and 3.
Okay.
Wow.
Gonna take a risk on that last one.
Yeah. So 5. Wow.
Didn't hurt. All right, Elaine, last run. Here you go.
1, 2, and 5. Ooh. 2.
Not bad. Good finish.
Yeah, I'll leave with it.
Strong finish. All right, Travis, last round. Here you go.
1, 3, 4, and 5.
Middle of the round there.
1, 3, 4, and 5.
Elaine by 3 points.
I won. Woo!
Nice.
Overall, it works though. There you go. We do see it works. So
Nice.
we
Yeah, that was
have our
great.
game. So we have our game. 100% you guys want to make sure you do go through this, make sure it makes sense, understand it. I would not hesitate to say, feel free to go through the videos one more time over the weekend, rebuild this one time, maybe even try building as much as you can from memory first, then watch the video to see how much you get. This can be great practice for liar's dice. Last thing though I do want to touch base on is just this concept of what is called mapping. And so one of the bigger items is this concept of, what's what I'm looking for? Frequency maps. So maps, though. Let's first talk about maps. Does anyone know what a map is or a hash map?
Yes, I've used them in HackerRank.
Oh, good.
I personally have no idea.
Yeah, me neither.
Hash map.
I heard someone else compare them to like an object in JavaScript.
Yes. So the best way to look at it, a hash map is a common thing known as a key value pair.
Oh, I got it. So our array list, yeah, you're explaining it.
It's a key value pair. And so you can actually look at all your arrays as a type of map as well. Every single value in your list has a key, right? A way to access that value. Does anyone know what the key is?
Index.
Right? Like if I have a list here, what am I saying? Like me, Richie, Travis, I have David, and we'll throw in Keith. If I want to access, let's say, Travis immediately, I can access that value right away by doing what?
Index.
Which index?
Array index.
Yeah, index 2, right?
2, yeah.
Yeah, by doing like get 2, I can get that, right? Now let's say that these items actually have some information. So for a very simple item, we can think of a phone list system or a phone system. So Cliff, I have my number 401321. We're not going to put a full number there. Richie will say is it 503, whatever it is, 228. Travis, go ahead and give me a number you want to use. Actually,
1, 2, 3.
Oh God.
4, 5, 6.
That.
It's amazing. I have the same combination on my luggage.
That's my password.
David, 9, 8,
Password.
7, 6, 5, 4. And then Keith, go ahead and give me your number.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sounds great. You guys are awesome. Bunch of jokesters, and I love it. And so what's interesting here is that in the hash map, though, we wouldn't access via index. As a hash map, I could say map.get Travis, and that would give me return. I'm just going to use the equal sign. That would give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so Travis is now the key. Instead of using the number, I can use a string, or I can use a number and use different numbers. Instead of having to do an order from 0 and up, my numbers can be different. So the keys and values can be their own data types. That's what K and V stand for, different data types. So I can have different types of maps. So let's go back here for a second. Let's go to main. We'll do map. And I can do a integer map. And that's very similar to an integer list or an integer array. But at the same time, by doing it this way, instead of using an array list, my keys don't have to start at 0 and go up incrementally. They can be whatever I want them to be, right? These no longer have to be in order. I can also do string integer, string. And since I can use data types, what else can I put in here?
I bet you can put a list in there.
Probably could,
An
actually.
array.
Yeah. What else can I put in? I was thinking something a little simpler than that.
Can you use a Boolean?
Let me do a bool. Boolean, yep. I wouldn't recommend Boolean as the key because that gives you a two element key because you only have true and false as your Boolean as your keys then. What else can I use?
Put a method in there.
I wouldn't say a method. Maybe. Actually, maybe. That would be lambdas.
Maybe a double.
Double, yeah, that's a normal property. What else can I put in?
An object.
Objects, like I could throw a die in there, right? I could throw a player in there, whatever I want. But here's something that we could do that's kind of interesting. Let's say I want to roll the dice and count up each occurrence of every number in the die. I'm going to adjust this for a second. I'm going to change this from 5 dice to 10 dice. and I want to know how many 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and 8s, 9s, whatever. How many ones, or up to 6 actually. I want to know how many of each element occur. Now, normally I could just count them all. I could create the variables, int 1, e 0, int 2. We already see the problem here, right? Int 3. I'm going to do that for now, just to kind of show the item. And then after I roll it, so I'm going to comment these out for a second, by the way. I'm going to get a cup the normal way. Cup. Cup. Roll. I'm going to iterate through the cup, and what I need to do here is those do 4. Cup dice. Problem is though, I need to now, I can't really use the face-up value to pick a number, right? I have to do a bunch of if statements, don't I? Or be a switch statement, right? It's not really useful, is it? I would have to do like switch die dot face-up value case 1 plus break case 2. Same the repetition, right? Not looking good, is it?
Yeah.
But we know that the face-up values are a number, right? We know that they are a class themselves. We know we can use that in a map, right? We've just seen that. Un momento. Popped in.
Whoa.
Hello,
right.
people.
Hi, Gabe.
What's up, Gabe?
Good to see you guys.
Would say the same, but I just see your name.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Camera's on.
Camera's on, baby.
What up, what up, what up?
Hey, Gabe.
Your hair is different.
I did get a haircut. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I have this background on this computer. Nice. So, Cliff, I joined in to bug you about getting those codes.
Yep.
So
I need people
my
to message me.
question is, will there be a new code for every person who logs in?
Yep.
Fun.
Yep. And
All
it
right.
doesn't tell me the email account that it's attached to. So that's why, yeah, trying to organize it between you telling, hey, and between that doesn't really work. Usually what it is, tell them when they're ready to log in, when they're about to do their work, to message me and ask for the code. So that way, and they can also message me first to make sure that I'm available. But at the same time, just let them know, as soon as they log in and that window pops up, as long as they don't close it, that's good for 24 hours.
Mhm.
So I can give them the code anytime, but usually I have my phone on me. So I guess that's the group here. For everyone here who did the mosh stuff, what would you say the longest you waited for me to get to your code was?
It's like 6 hours or something one
3
night.
days.
I think I
Really?
messaged you.
Was
Well,
it 3
one-
days?
I wasn't expecting that one.
Oh, well, it was like, I think I
Was,
messaged you at like 10 o'clock or something. And then I got it from you like later on or earlier that morning or something. I don't know.
Early morning, yeah.
It was a couple hours.
Is it a
or something.
one-time thing? You
One
have to
time,
do it-
yes.
Okay.
One time.
All
Yep.
right.
As long as they get in, they're in. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's by device. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let them know that.
Cool. Yeah. And like I said, as soon as I'm going to be finishing up in probably the next like 10 minutes, they could, if they start doing it tonight, I'll be able to start sending the codes right away.
Copy that.
Cool.
All right, thanks, Cliff. I just wanted
No
to
problem.
throw that up and see what's going on.
Sounds good.
Well, bye,
Good to see you,
everyone.
Gabe.
Good
Good to
seeing
see you,
you.
Gabe. Take it
Hopefully, I
easy.
see you guys very soon. Do some coding
Good.
sessions.
Sweet.
That'd be fun.
Looking forward to it.
Fun. Dice games. That's what's
Gabriel
up.
will always
Yeah,
be
we just finished up
JavaScript man
Yahtzee.
in my heart.
All right,
They
bye.
still just finished up
Bye.
Yahtzee. They get into Liar's Dice. See ya.
Talk to you later, Cliff.
Talk to you later. All right. So we can already see the repetition of this. We already know that the face-up values are integers, and we can use integers and hash maps for keys, right?
Mhm.
Because there's no, the main thing to keep in mind, like some of you might be thinking like now, like, oh, couldn't I just use an array though and use each index of the array list as the key for the dice? Well, there's no guarantee that our roll is going to have all 6 numbers, is it?
Right.
And what's cool about this is we can even skip certain numbers now. So now our hash map is only going to have the numbers that actually occur too. So we don't have to worry about zeros or nulls. So we can do this. We can do instead map. Sure. And the most common name for this is called freak, which is fun. Or frequency.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
When
went
you
by-
said heard freak, you were thinking FREAK, right?
Yes. I'm like, that's
freak
an
is in
odd
frequency.
convention.
So I have fun saying it because everyone gets it wrong.
It's computer science, so anything goes.
True. I mean, seriously, our method for creating a file in Linux is touch. I like to touch files. Just sounds weird. So freak, and we do equal, and the same thing as we did before. New, and we have hash map, and the second most common one is a table map, a tree map. There are others, but these are the 2 that are most common: tree map and hash map. Tree map takes a little more processing, but a tree map is sorted by the keys, if the keys are sortable. So the keys have the ability to be sorted. You can use a tree map to make sure that the keys are in order. Does that make sense how that works?
Yep.
A hash map will put them in a random order. Tends to be in order of as you add each key, but it's more accurately designed as where it can fit in memory. So don't assume that a hash map's order is going to be based on as you add each key.
The
So
link
it's
hash
not
map
guaranteed.
has the order.
What's that?
The link hash map is when you put them in.
That's it. Yes.
That is
That's
considered
what
the
one.
order.
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't remember the name of that one. Yeah, linked hash map will guarantee the order as they are entered. So if you enter the number, if the number 2 is the first one we entered, that'll be the first one on your hash map. Then 4, then 1, then 3. So the order you add them to the map is the order those keys will take place. A hash map does not guarantee the order in any way, shape, or form. But it also takes the less resources because it just finds a free spot and puts it there.
With the hash map, why would you ever want to use the linked one versus just the regular hash map?
So in that one, you could do it where, yeah, again, it's if you want to maintain the order of how you're adding them to the map. So the keys, as you add each key to the map, it's going to keep the order. I can't really think of an example off the top of my head right now.
Yeah.
But the idea is just knowing that it's there. Do you have a Jim?
Yeah, the Yahtzee scorecard. I'm trying to do that in a link hash map because if I do it in a hash map, it's just out of order. But if I'm displaying it, I can go iterate through it and it'll display in order.
And you could have the keys ones as the string 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s.
Yeah.
And then what is it?
Then you
3
got,
of a
like-
kind, 4 of a kind, small straight, large straight,
Right.
Yahtzee, chance. And so your hash map could actually be held in that order with the link. Nice example.
Yeah, that makes sense there.
Thank you. I was like, I actually cannot think of an example right now. There you go. Perfect. Yeah. In this case, I think the nice one here could be the sorted one, so that the frequency of the 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. So we will try out the tree map for this one. For this example, we no longer need these. And in this case, all we need to do now is do a simple conditional. So keep in mind again that the keys don't exist right away. If we were to print this out immediately, so I'm not going to do anything yet. I'm just going to do S out, freak. No. Nice and empty. So the keys don't exist. So that's one thing. And if we try to set a value for a key that doesn't exist or increment a value that doesn't exist, we could get an issue, right? What happens if you try to add 1 to nothing?
Null pointer exception.
Well, I think null pointer, but just an exception, right? You can't add to null. Remember how we have an integer that's undefined and we try to do the plus to it? Same concept. So there's a simple, not really simple, it's a standard practice to do this syntax here. If, issues today, if freak, there it is, dot contains key. The next method for contains key, so we can see if that key exists yet. Die dot face up value. And this is going to give us true. We want to check that it doesn't exist first. If it doesn't exist, we want to make sure that key is created. We want to create the key. Do not. If that key does not exist, we're going to do freak dot put. So this is the thing to keep in mind. Put is your most common method here. The key is going to be the face up value. We're just going to set it to 0. And so you're like, well, why not just set it to 1? This is where the nice convention here by doing it this way. No matter what, whether it exists or doesn't exist, I'm then going to increment that value by 1. So I can then do freak dot put die dot face up value. Freak dot get.
What happened?
You're still using that program that slows you down, Cliff.
Yep. That face of value plus 1. And so the other thing to keep in mind is that hash maps, their values are technically not mutable. You can't edit them directly. You edit them through a method. They only have getters and setter methods. They do not actually allow you to access to modify the key directly. The getter method is immutable. So when you do a dot get, you can't do dot get equal. So you can't do freak dot get face of value equals plus 1. You can only set the value to
20.
What's that? Oh, thank you.
Semicolon at the end.
Thank you. And so that's why I have to do it like this. So to do the put, tell it the key, and then get the current value of that key, and then make the change.
Did you mention that we technically have to override it every time?
That's what I'm just saying now. Yep.
Because I had fun with that in HackerRank.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to clarify. Yeah, you can't modify the value of a key directly. Keys can only be modified through the put method. And so when you can't do this, for example. What I'm trying to say is you can't do eq dot get die dot face value equals or plus plus like that. Can't do that. Cannot do equals. And this would just look dumb anyway. That's one. That wouldn't work either. So you can't assign to the result that you get back. Because what you get back is this. You get back the integer raw. And so that means I'm trying to assign to an integer this. So I'm not getting like an object when I do a get. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm not getting an object. I'm not getting a reference. I'm actually getting the integer here. And so what I'm seeing here would be akin to me doing 3 equals 3 plus 1. That doesn't work, right? It's not valid syntax, is it? So that's why we have to use the put system. That's why it's safe to say that the values inside the system are immutable. We can't change them, but we can overwrite them. Who here has never heard that term immutable before? We have the terms mutable and immutable. So we have mutable and immutable. Any guesses on the word based on think of the word mutable? What does that scream to you?
From mutate, from change?
Mutate.
Yeah, mutate, which means to change. So mutable means able to change. Immutable means unable to change. So that's why. And that's a very common word used in computer science. So it's good to make sure you guys are aware of that word. You'll see that term used a lot. Immutable, immutable. So let's see what this does now. Now that we've done it, I'm now going to print out again this line right here, and so you can see the difference. What happens now? See what this does for us. And we'll also do display cup as well above it, so you can see how it works. So S out, cup dot display cup. Play. To get our printout, we got the 5 1. We got 1 5. We have 3 2s, 1 2 3. There's 3 threes. 1, 2, 3. There's only 2 threes. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 1 6. See how that works? So this is going to count up how many of each I have. Any idea why I'm showing you this now? Where this might be beneficial to you guys?
Yeah.
Liar's dice.
If you remember correctly, the end of Liar's dice at the bottom of every round, it shows the frequency of all the dice, right? And so this right here is going to be very useful to you. So I'm going to find the right algorithm for it, but I'm going to try to give you guys a hash map algorithm for the weekend. I'll be putting it in the classroom tonight, so you'll have it for tomorrow morning. And so your challenges for this weekend is to attempt this algorithm. We will review it on Monday morning. The very first thing we do will be to review that. And then we will set up your teams, talk about how the process will go, and we'll review your plan of attacks. And the goal is to set up a skeletal kind of starter structure for your games on Monday. Any questions?
The algorithm that you're giving us, so you're gonna put in classroom?
Yep. Yeah, I got 2, I think it's 2 or 3 of them. I just have to figure out which one I want to do. So I'm gonna look at them again. Yeah.
Joel, can you put a link to that course on random?
I think.
Freddie, do you still have that link handy? I know you DM'd
Yeah,
it to me.
If someone take a look at it.
Also, cohort 10-11 students, what are your thoughts about being in the cohort 12 chat room?
I think it
So
works.
you guys can chat with each other. Think that'll work now?
I wouldn't mind it.
All right.
Yeah.
Also throwing you guys in there so you guys can collaborate on it more and see that. And that'll also save me the effort of having to post things twice. I'll keep the other chat room open if there's anything that I need to message 10-11 directly for. That'll start bringing you guys over to this group chat so that way you can at least get the same messages now. But yeah, I'll keep the original group chat open for anything that is 10-11 specific because again, I'm hoping very soon to be able to give some of you another test again to see if you guys are ready for interview prep. Now that we've done a whole bunch of basics again. Sound good?
That's good.
All right. Any other questions, please feel free to let me know. Again, my office hours are this weekend from 1 to 3 on Sunday. I'll have the Zoom link up. It's the same one. So again, check your Google. Did I put it in Google Calendar? I did. I think I did. I don't know if I invited you guys though. I may have just done it for myself so I didn't forget. I will invite everybody. I will send out that event to everyone again, just like the classroom invites are. So I'll send that in my office hours as a event invite to everybody so that can pop up on your calendar as well. So if you forget, you'll get a reminder, oh yes, Cliff does have office hours. I can go bug him now. So might as well take advantage of the fact that I'm there. So what is it? I think one of you guys used it, so hopefully it was useful. Otherwise, I will see everybody then. If not, I will see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend. Keep the good work. And yeah, take a challenge on these. And then we'll break down, we'll take a look at this, and this will really help us know where we are, what are our next upcoming lessons going to be. So how we approach this exercise lets me know where we're at, what pieces we need to dig a little deeper into, and what pieces do we understand. So that's the main goal of this exercise, is to get an idea of what parts do you understand, what parts do we need a secondary lesson on before we move on to the new stuff. So that's the goal of this assignment, just to kind of throw that out there so everyone understands, like, it's not whether or not I'm hoping that everyone here gets the project easily, but the main goal of the project is also to highlight what topics of this stuff do we not understand, so I can do a couple extra lessons on those things before we move on to the new stuff. All right. So it's not about, like, if you guys are struggling with the exercise, that's fine. It's what I want to see. I want to know those things so I can then move. I can know we just need to dig a little deeper into that bit. All right.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Take care, everybody. I'll see you all on Monday.
All right. Good night.
Have a good weekend.
Question, Cliff.
Go for it.
So for